Welcome to the NXT Podcast, your home for weekly NXT reviews and insight.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
Find all of your NXT news, recaps, and analysis right here. So with that being said, we only have one question for you.
Are you ready?
We thought so. Let's get the show started right now.
Okay. What we got here is Chase U coming out with Thea Hale and Duke Hudson. And they're going to celebrate Thea Hale's first win. So they've got stuff in the ring, and everybody's in there talking. Duke's in there going, and J.D. McDonough, JT comes out and says that he's not up with all this stuff, all this hoopla, and all of this. He's an old school guy. He doesn't like it. So there is a problem coming on, and of course Thea's going to jump around and do her deal, but JD does get up in there when he confronts Mr. Chase, Andrew Chase, and Duke is up in there, and when he confronts him, he goes right after the professor. He goes right after Chase U and lets him know. And then at that point, Thea's over there jumping, and Duke's holding her back, and he tells Duke to control your dog. Good little cut in there, but it is setting up a match, and it was a good sell for that. JD comes in and ruins. Because he doesn't like the bull crap and everything. I kind of like it, and so it's going to go into a match with JD and Andrew Chase. And it is a good match. And you know what? I'm not I haven't been, let's say, real impressed with Mr. Andrew Chase. And in ring-wise, yes, he can cut a promo, and he can do, yes, he's good, and he's got his little stick he does with the where they bleep him out and everything. I mean, look, that's all good, and I have nothing wrong with that, but I've always kind of thought that his clothing kind of hampered him. It's not very freeing to work with, and a lot of times when I think he looks a little awkward and slow, I think it may be because of the outfit he's wearing, his ring gear. So, I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but in this particular match, might I say that him and JD put on a good show. Look, Indy and Tiffany earlier put on a good show, and Chase U, Mr. Andre Chase, and J.D. McDonough, they put on a good one. But it comes into Duke. It comes into Duke walking off. The way they're framing this, or the way the story is on this, I kind of like it, because you never know with Duke. Now, Duke walks off, and Mr. Chase is trying to figure out what happened. And in this period of time when he's distracted, of course, JD throws down and ends the match. You don't take your eyes off JD. So, he ends the match, so it's all, why did JD walk off? What's going on here? And then they go in and cut a promo with Kiana James and Fallon Henry, because they're going to have a match. They're going to have a match against Tatum Paxley and Ivy Niles. So they do a good little promo, and they come in, and it's kind of an awkward start with Kiana and Fallon. They're kind of, not sure. They can't even get into the ring or get under the ropes, right? One's coming in, one's coming out. But they end up having a good match. And look, Ivy is, I think she's having to dumb down because I think she's a legit badass. And so she's having to not try to hurt the girls instead of going full-fledged or however you may want to put this. So, and now Tatum, I had not really been impressed with either, but in this match, and I think she looked good. I think Paxley and Niles looked good in this match. They, of course, James and Henry are going to get over on this, but even like James, look, when Kiana goes in and she starts into her offensive side, she throws down, man. She does good, and today she did like a shoulder block in the corner. Old Razor Ramon used to do this, where he would drive that shoulder in while he's got you into the corner or in the corner, and it looked good. The way Razor did it. Well, man, Miss James did it like that. She manhandled her, got her into the corner and just drove that shoulder in, and then just like continued like Steve Dr. Death Williams in that corner. So great match, I thought. It's gonna come down to Kiana saying whatever it takes to win, I'm gonna do. All right, and I gotta say, at the start of this match, Kiana always brings out that big purse, and I'm sure it's some expensive type. I don't know any of that stuff, but I'm sure it is. Well, at the start of the match, he's holding the purse. It's and every guy that's married, don't act like you haven't held a purse. And if you say I ain't never held no purse in no store, well, if you haven't, then you're probably single. But anyway, I'm gonna say that Jensen looked. He played the part good, man. Everything was good. James comes in, does what needs to be done to win the match, and it may involve. Well, I want you to watch and see, but it may involve. And she gets involved. So when she's not in the match per se, in the actual inside the squared circle, she gets involved, and it was well done, and I liked it. So I hope you go back and check that out. I think you will too. Let me see. You've got New Day. They're going to have the invitational tournament, invitational challenge, or whatever it is. But you've got Analphium Blade, you've got Schism, you got New Day. So they're trying to, and there's one more tag team going to be involved. So who's it going to be? But then they cut Wiz. Yeah, it's a barbershop. That's where Mello and Trick, they get lined up and taken care of. So, earlier or in the last show, Apollo asked, "Where's a good spot where I can get, a good cut?" And of course, he's bald, but he's getting lined up on his beard and everything like that. So he goes in and they start there again. It goes back to the quality of this is just freaking great, man. And it's not like a normal wrestling thing. This is modern day, I guess. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. I'm just old. It just amazes me how well and how well they do it, and just it's just really nice. So anyway, they got Apollo in the barber shop, and the barber's letting him know, man, I don't think Mello and Trick are gonna like this. And he's like, hey, man, chair's open. So he gets started, or gets the cape, not cape, but the apron put on him or whatever, and about that time, here comes Trickety Trick and Mello, and they're not happy he's there. And like the barber says, man, hey, look, the chair was open. I can't turn away business. It's a business. So anyway, they end up having a sit down. So in this sit down, they discuss having a just an end it all match. Let's just not a 2 out of well, they're going to end up doing a 2 out of 3 falls, but they didn't want to do just like, let's have this last match and let's whoever wins it wins. They wanted to say, because Melo's over hollering, hey, I'm a younger you. You're just jealous. And, of course, I keep it going back to Apollo and the diner writing, and I just... Anyway, they end up wanting to have a all-for-all ending. And when they do, it is going to be a 2 out of 3 falls at Vengeance Day. All right, let me see. We go from there. You come back out and you got Drew Gulak and Hank Walker going against the Creed brothers. So what was earlier was set up. And Julius comes out starting strong. And old Hank, you know what? Hank's getting better. And there again, it goes into, I don't like his ring gear. I know what they're trying to do, but, there's better ring gear to get that. Anyway, Hank comes out there, and Julius is schooling him and schools Drew. And then, of course, they're going to get the upper hand on Big Brutus for a little while. And Brutus tries, man. He's just so big, man. It's just and not like big like the Giant or he's just a big old guy, and it's you got to be your stature has to be a little larger to make it sell better to me, at least to me. But Hank does good, and he does this little spin where he tries to spin him around. He's not doing a Claudio spin, but he's got him up and he spins him around, and Drew does a move off the rope. Comes out. But the Creed brothers do have a time where they're down on this. Brutus, I think, gets whooped on for a while, and then Julius comes in, and it's, Brutus is just so stiff, man. But he's strong, and Julius, they do some great moves. Drew works good with doing a handstand in the suplex position, if you know what I mean. And everything's going to where, at one point in time, to where you think maybe. Old Hank and Drew could pull this off. But right about that time, old Charlie Dempsey comes out. And Charlie's got a problem with Drew. And Drew comes off the apron and gets down on the floor, and they start having a problem, and he doesn't pay attention. Tag happens, a couple moves, and there's a Brutus bomb off the top rope. And you know what that means? It's done. So that's over. And then you got Senga and Veer and Jinder Mahal, the modern day Maharaji. And they come out. What do they call them? Indus or something? But maybe are they making Jinder the mouthpiece? Is that what he's there for? I mean, he does good on the mic. I just don't like him so much in the ring. So maybe that's what they're going to do. I don't know. And then you got to have the comeback to JC Jane. You got to have Gigi a little time on the mic, and she comes out and pretty much does the same, saying that she's tired of JC Jane and that a rose is pretty, but you better remember the thorns. All right, and they go into a Wendy Chu and Elektra Lopez. They're building a storyline up with Valentina Flores. And Elektra wants her to see how it's done. The match is, okay. Wendy Wendy's okay, and Electra does some good moves. She looks pretty good in this. But then she goes old school, and she pulls the brass knuckles out. And they even do an old school leg scissors. You don't see leg scissors that much anymore, but they do a leg scissors in this. And, so Electra looked pretty good in this. She, of course, with the brass knuckles, wins the match. Imagine that. But Valentina's going to have to change her way or her thinking. But they're building something up there, and I like it. After that, they got Briggs and Jensen and Valen, and Briggs went in, and he, Jensen went in, and he went to Sean, and he said they needed he thought that they were worthy of a tag team championship match, and that was their first match, the ladies' first match together. So, but he got him a match for next week. I believe it was next week, or I don't think it was, maybe it was Vengeance Day. But he got him a match, and Valen is not very happy because she wasn't in the loop on this. So, we'll see how this goes. But then they try to do something with this new girl they're bringing in, Stevie Turner, the podcaster, whatever she is, and she pretty much doesn't answer the ladies' questions, but she has listeners with the same questions. So she does it. It's a good little parody. And, in other words, she says she'll be there next week. And then after that, you've got Mr. Waller coming out in his pink fur. He decides to show up in his pink fur. Looking a little vanilla icy. Not oozy, but icy. And Braun is in the back. And, of course, when he comes out with his replica NXT Heavyweight Championship belt, it drives Braun crazy. And he's got to come from the back, and he brings a whole group with him. And, hey, it looks good. There's a big brouhaha out on the floor. I thought it looked good. It's a good setup. They're really building it up good, and I think Waller's doing a fantastic job. And then you got Gallus. They cut a promo with Gallus, and it's funny to see such a scripted, because they script the crap out of these poor guys and girls. They don't give them a chance to. Anyway, Gallus is playing some pool in a pub, and they've got a nice scripted deal. And, of course, I'm an American, so I don't understand. Well, I do understand, but with their voice and the way they do the interview, it's funny to have a scripted, a scripted Scottish and Irish accent there. And then you got Alba Fire going to come out and take on the ladies' champs, Chance and Carter, and the Rock and Roll Express of the ladies' division. And so she's going to do a handicap match. So they announce her, and she comes out, and the champs come out. They're getting ready to get started, and Sol Ruka decides to come out and involve herself in the match. So maybe, I'm thinking, hey, they're going to let them beat the champs and let Ruka, because they're building Ruka up so much, because she looks great. She's been in ring. She looks good. I mean, she's not there yet, but she looks great. She sells. She does a good job at taking the punches, but she delivers good looking offense. And in this match, it's a back and forth kind of deal. The lady champs, they do great work. As I said, I kid when I say the Rock and Roll Express, but they look like their teamwork and stuff is that good. The Midnight Express, if you want to go back or something, there's almost a press slam that Ruka does. I mean, it's just really good, but ends up that the champs win the match, and Isla Dawn shows up and fire this opponent she's been battling with. They walk off into the sunset together. So, do we have something coming up on that? Hey. And then they cut a promo with Dijak and Wesley, and Dijak's telling them, hey, you just give me the belt, and it'll save it. And, of course, this scripted promo. And I think these two guys could have done something, but Wesley says no, he's always been kind of stupid, and he's never taken advice, and he's not going to give him the belt, and protect your neck, is what he told Dijak. So, yeah, and you got Cora Jade coming back and talking about Valkyria, and they have a little a segment, and then they cut to the back, and Cora Jade is not happy when she's interrupted in this promo, and so they go to the parking lot, and Nikita Lyons is in the middle of the parking lot. Somebody's done whooped on her, so there you go, and you got Thea and Chase and Duke again, and Duke's done gone. He's explaining why he left and everything, and he says he went to Shawn Michaels, and he tried to get him in the invitational tournament that New Day's doing, and he's not, he explains it, and of course, Andre's wanting to, Mr. Chase is wanting to know, well, what did he say? What did Shawn say? And he plays it off really good, and okay, so they're the fourth tag team in this, so there you go, setting up that. But then you got Booker T getting a little chance to shine more and more, and I love me some Booker T on commentary. But Booker T is doing the Championship Summit, so he's got JC Jane, Gigi, and Roxanne Perez, the champ, and of course JC Jane and Gigi are going back and forth, and so Booker T gives them a chance to talk, and they go at it, and it seems like they're freestyling, seems like they're going at it, and Roxanne, they bring her in going, well, look, I thought this was going to be a handicap match for me, but now I see how the girls are going at it, so this is going to be fun, and she's enjoying it. So JC Jane and Gigi get up, and they're about ready to throw down, man. They're getting ready to throw down right in the middle of it, and then they stop. They stop, and they smile. They stop and they smile, and then they turn their attention to Roxanne. And when they do, this was all a ruse, folks. It was a setup, and they pick Roxanne up and pull a 3D table slam, breaking the table, putting Roxanne out, and there you go. And you know what? I feel so bad. I just looked at my notes, and this was a pretty good segment. It ended pretty good with Toxic turning back, and everything was great on that. But one thing I did leave out, and I so apologize, but I don't want to go back and edit this whole thing. But when Braun and Waller were ringside fighting, they end up on the outside, and Braun misses a spear on Waller and goes through the sidewall of the wood sidewall, and he's out, and Waller does so badass. He just does so badass when he leaves. I'm just becoming more and more of a Waller fan, but I say that to say this. I apologize that I did not put that in earlier, but I've got two monitors going, and I just saw that it just came up, and I recognized that I did not state that. So yes, earlier when Waller and Braun have the confrontation inside the ring, when he comes out there, it's really good. The whole thing is good. Look, this show is a good setup show. Good setup show. Cannot say it enough. Good setup show. Very worth going back and watching. So, guys, look, that's going to do the review this week. I apologize for my mistake, but here we go. Look, this is Memphis Mark. And rescue if you can, but always spay and neuter. And you know what? I'm out.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.